Producers, Groove Shaper is kind of lit. Yeah, it's going to be one of those type of videos. Let's go ahead and just jump right in. So Groove Shapers from Pitch Innovations is part of the Beatport Studio membership, which you should check out if you haven't yet. Links in the video description. What it does is gives you patterns, which is great for things like percussion. Obviously, I'm using Damage 2 here from our good friends at Heavyocity. And that's just me pressing one key. So when I press one key, it will trigger whatever sample is allocated to that key, and then it will play over the pattern. Now, I've got shapes here, but if I prefer, I can look at the actual patterns in a grid layout, or I can look at the musical notation. If I press two keys, I'm going to trigger two different samples. Of course, I can switch out these if I want by just clicking and dragging and dropping. I can also come into any presets like epic drums or epic percussion. Now I can also play in MIDI, and it will automatically detect if I'm using my MIDI keyboard or have MIDI playing into it. So if I wanted to be kind of cheeky, I could send in scalar 2 chords, which obviously have multiple notes in them, into the Groove Shaper. And if I just play without having to press any keys, we're getting epic percussion. Like, there's no denying. You can't comment on this video and be intellectually honest with yourself and say that those not epic drums. That's epic drums, period. We also have this magic dice. Just hit it. It's going to give me some random stuff. It's also got some really cool sort of randomization features. So we can really crank up the velocity, and it is velocity sensitive. So you can hear there's a difference there. Now that in combination with an instrument like Damage 2 that has round robins are really going to give you this epic cinematic style. But of course, it's going to work with things like hi-hats, your traditional trap hi-hat patterns, or things like bongos. And there's even a section for fills. We've got gate, swing, dynamics, and so on. But another really cool thing here is if we take a bunch of these and make them really big, right? If you come in on the shape by shape here, so whatever I have selected, you'll see that this will update. If I hit randomize, not only will it randomize the velocity on a per note basis, but it will also mute some of them. So you'll start to get some very interesting patterns that you might not have gotten otherwise. You can see right here, we've actually got two muted notes. So it gets a little bit too cluttered down here at the end. We can come in and maybe shut some notes off by ourselves, or we could just easily drop in something else. Maybe go crazy for the last one. I mean, that's what it is. That's what it does. It's epic every time. I do want to point out that what it does is it hosts your instrument inside of it. As soon as you launch it for the first time, it will scan your VSTs, and you'll see that I've got all of my different VSTs in here. So I just loaded up Contact, put that Damage 2 library in there, and boom goes the dynamite. It's literally the first preset that comes in Damage 2. All right, for the last thing I want to do to wrap up this video is I want to throw some spiccato strings from another Heavyocity library called Modern Strings. We're going to use the Broken Strings preset inside of Groove Shaper here, and I'm going to feed in the chords I have from Scalar, so we get something with a nice chord progression. And I'm also going to turn on voice grouping, so we kind of spread out which notes are used, and let's see what we got. So you can see we're going to get some really cool and interesting results. Let's just hit the magic dice and see what happens. All right, so there you go. It's epic and easy. Two things that I'm a huge fan of. Are you? Either way, I'm going to leave a link to it on Plugin Boutique. It's also a part of the Beatport Studio membership, which I mentioned earlier. Definitely check that out. Scalar 2 is also a part of that. So 2 of the 3 things I'm using in this are available in that membership. So check out the details about that in the video description. And as usual, I'm Joshua Casper, and I'll see you in the next video.